how's it going? This is Tim from the League Identity, and we're going to be going over a quantum controller loadout today. And like always, we will start with your power tree. So let's get to it. So we'll start off with time. I go all the way down to time bubble, but you don't need time bubble. That's only if you want to have the option of having a shield, which is kind of nice. Personal shield every once in a while. I like getting it because sometimes I like to switch it out for. I like quantum tunneling better, but sometimes I'm in a raid or something where I need time bubble, so I put it in my loadout. But you don't have to get it. You can leave that one free if you'd like. You need to get time shift and anomaly. You're gonna go into space. You get gravitron, field, lift, in spiral waves, or Einstein's ray, doesn't matter which. And then you want to get event horizon as your supercharge. That will leave you with 6 powers left over, and I get the tank iconics, the troll iconics, and the damage iconics. And as for your loadout, for controlling with quantum, you're going to need Tachyon Burst, which is going to be your POT, your power over time. You need Temporal Extortion, which will be your instant power out. I mean your Anomaly, which reduces target's ability to heal and is your main stun. Time Shift, which reduces the enemy's defense. It's your defense debuff, and then you're going to want Quantum Tunneling, which is super useful to get away from when you're being beat up a lot, or to quantum tunnel in towards somebody who's been knocked down, pick them up, and then get out. And then Event Horizon, which is your supercharge. It's a shield, and it also gives out a lot of power. So I use for my controller two-handed weapons, mostly because the double hold triangle weapon mastery is really strong and really good for trolling. Looks like that. So it hits a bunch of times. So it's really easy to build your hit counter up, and when you need to build your own power up. So, and if you notice that it's really good at knocking people down, so it's just really useful. And the weapon mastery timing for your powers is really easy on it. So this is what you're going to use your loadout. So here, your main POT is what you're going to want going all the time. It's also a stun. I think it can stun like two or three people. It's not very much, but it lasts a pretty good amount of time, especially if you got a lot of dominance. And then there's your main power out, which also gives you a buff. And oh, one thing I forgot to say: if you look up to where my name is, the Pink Crusader, you'll see next to the sparring target how it's got its a little green foot thing. Well, when you go to use powers, you're gonna need to make sure you're paying attention to your name, the names of your little buddies, and the names of your target, because that's gonna show you when your buffs and debuffs are there or not, and that way you can refresh the buffs and debuffs whenever you need to. So you notice when I use my POT, I get a little lightning bolt. That means that I have power over time going. So I'm giving myself and everybody else power. And then you just refresh it as needed. So what I normally do is I normally use this to clip with, and also use it as my main weapon mastery clip, because that gives out a lot of power, and it's what you're going to be doing most of the time. But you can also use, I also clip that weapon mastery, this one, with all my other powers. That way I don't expend as much power as I'm giving to people, so I can generally give out a lot more power without having to stop and just hammer at people, so I get my hit counter up. But anyway, let's get back to what the powers look like. So Anomaly looks like is your health debuff, and it's also your main stun. And if you notice, when you do that, you put a little red heart on those guys, and that means that they're not able to heal. Time Shift is your main defense debuff. It looks like this, and you notice it's got a little red shield up underneath his name, and that means that their defense is down, so other people, including yourself, do more damage. Your main Quantum Tunneling is useful. It'll get you in closer. That's all it really does. But the nice thing about Quantum Tunneling is if you have aggro on a bunch of bad guys and you hit Quantum Tunneling, you lose aggro, which is why it's nice to get in and pick people up, because you Quantum Tunnel in, you shed all your aggro, and then you can pick people up fairly safely. And of course there's your Supercharge, which you're only going to do when people need shields or when people desperately need power. And this is what it looks like. It's one of the coolest looking shields in the game, I think. Yeah. Ooh. Okay. But anyway, that's going to give out a lot of power and protect you from damage. And it also returns a bit of damage done to you. So the way I use this power is I normally lead with that, and then I throw, hit into that one, throw, hit, clip, time shift into that one, and then you just kind of keep doing this over and over again. Missed it that time, but you can, as long as you keep doing it this way, you don't use as much power, and you give out a lot of power. And that's basically all there is to trolling. You just keep your debuffs on, and you can actually, with your instant power, you can actually clip that with pretty much everything you've got. So you can clip it with your POT, you can clip it with Anomaly, and you can clip it with Time Shift. It allows you to clip all your other powers so you don't use up as much time during your animations. So it basically is your power that allows you to clip things and also give out a lot of power. So that's about it. That is all there really is to trolling. You stick people in place with these two, and you make sure that they're nice and defense debuffed, and you just give out power. But again, I would go with a weapon mastery that is only 2 hits, and make sure it's 2 hits and a throw, because it just, you don't want to get in too close as a troll, and you want to be able to do a little bit of damage. It's nice to do a little bit of damage. I usually with this weapon mastery, I usually come in second DPS in most alerts and stuff. So I'm usually a contender in terms of damage. Not against a DPS, of course, but against everyone else. I'm usually the top damager. That is not a damager, shall I say. But anyway, that's about it. So quantum trolling is actually a really good control power. It's one of the best for crowd control, in my opinion. Although I have yet to use munitions very much, but we'll get into that when I do get a munitions character going. So anyway, that's it for me, and I will see you guys later. Take care.